So on the thermal camera here, we've got the back of the car. You can see it's like 90 something degrees, 93. Ignore the shiny chrome piece there that's saying 100. That is not right, but the back of the car is 90 degrees. Let's look at that. That glass is definitely hotter. That relay went to the rear defroster. It is definitely hot to the touch. The car's not. The car's been sitting inside here. It's ambient temp, but that is definitely hotter, and you can see it on the camera. So I guess I could have found it with the camera, but this would have been like maybe the second time I would have found one with a camera. I just don't find that they are very useful for finding most of the parasitic drains that I get. However, this one it would have got me there probably faster, but we still tracked the issue down by following one simple process that didn't even have a real diagnostic trouble tree to follow. Well, it kind of sucks that this is the spot in the fuse box that is damaged. It'd been a whole lot nicer if it was this or even this. But since it's that, this is going to be pretty hard, because this is what you got to deal with to replace this one relay holder. So obviously, since all this plastic is all messed up and melted basically, and of course the wires are cooked down in there, I've got to get this plastic in here. And if you've never had the joy, the pure joy in life of changing a Honda fuse box, well, let's just hope that you do at some point in your life, because it's exciting. It really is. How this all comes apart is pretty aggravating. When you get these from a junkyard like I did, they have to cut this out, and you get it in the whole case, and it even come with like the bottom piece to it and everything like that. But how all of this snaps into this is really crazy. They do not want this to come back apart. This main piece here, which fills this cavity, has to come out the top, because the way this thing locks in here, these little spots here and here, they slide down in here and catch right here. So you kind of have to like wedge this plastic apart and get this pulled out through the top, and then you got to kind of turn it sideways a little bit and shove it back through there to get this out. These other little sections, they're right the opposite. You can take them, they've got these little push clip things on them, and you come from the top and you will slide your little flathead or whatever down through there to release them, and they push through the bottom. So some of this has, the main one comes out the top, these others over here go out the bottom. This section here, this is like its own little relay pack. Well, it comes out the top and got plugs on the bottom of it, so this one can actually unplug. But all this other stuff has wires, so I've got to figure out what's going to be better. Do I de-pin everything in this and re-pin all of my good stuff into this, or do I cut a whole lot of wires and solder a whole bunch of wires back together? this is really stupid. Like, why can't they make fuse boxes that unplug? It's a good thing we need a BCM though, because I really don't want to change this fuse box. So let's just get a BCM and put a BCM in this thing. So here's one little trick that I've learned doing these. When you get your junkyard one, if you're having to replace a section like I'm having to do, try to save the one from the junkyard, this piece right here, because to get this out is very, very aggravating. And what I ended up doing with the last one was I actually, once I separated it from the bottom, there's a bottom to this thing, I separated this out, pulled it up as high as I could, and of course these sections, they poke through real easy. This section is the hard section. What I did is I actually just cut the plastic in a few spots to separate this thing out and get this apart. So then I have a good one from the junkyard to go back in. And it's really just because you can't get this thing to lift up out of here high enough really to work with it. This is held in here. You've got harness going that direction, you've got harness going that direction. So this thing's really aggravating. So what I'm probably going to do is do the same thing. I'm going to separate it, pull it up as high as I can get it, and then just take and pull the plastic apart and snip it. Just cut it and separate it off of this piece and just replace it with this good one. This is all the slack you get. That's it. That's what you get to work with. Thanks, Honda. There, you see how this one here, it slides out the bottom. This one's fine. We can leave this one alone. We're not gonna have to mess with it. We'll probably have to spray some deoxit on this to clean some of this. I mean, it's really just smoke damage, but we do need to kind of clean that off. Hopefully this one's gonna be fine also. I'll probably replace this relay just because it is damaged. Yeah, see, we got a hole in this relay, so we'll replace that one. I did get extra relays from the donor fuse box over there. I've got all the fuses and everything. They're all up front on my desk. But yeah, this is fine. The housing is not damaged. Just a nice hole there. Making progress. We're down to the hard part, this middle section. Now this middle section's actually kind of two pieces. You've got this piece here, and then you got this piece over here, and it's real confusing because this piece actually has to go out the bottom, this piece has to come out the top, but this piece that goes out the bottom is actually locked up into this piece, like they're hooked together. And separating this piece here from this piece is real frustrating. Let me go get this piece from up front. I'll kind of show you how it is on the box I've already got took out. Alright, so this piece right here is what's under here. I've just got the metal stuff out, and here's my replacement relay for the one that's got a hole burned in it. But this piece takes and slides up through the bottom of this piece, and it kind of locks in there. There's another spot in here where it locks, so here, here, and then on the side here and here. And to get these pieces here in the middle undone and get this piece to actually slide out the bottom, that's the most frustrating thing ever. What you have to do really is this piece is this piece. It's just got the metal tabs missing from it. You have to go down through the sides right here and wedge these apart. Like, you gotta go way down in there. Like, I use a couple of these little jeweler screwdrivers. You shove them down in there and wedge them apart like that right there. So there's one here. Come on, focus. There's another one down there, and I've just lost my screwdriver that I gotta find. There's one right here, and then right there. So you gotta spread all four of those sections apart and then push this piece out the bottom. Let's see how bad this thing is going to hate me and fight me, because the other one, it fought me pretty good, and I almost wasn't able to get it apart. This one's probably not going to be any better. It's like you can get them to start separating, but man, getting them actually out. Sometimes it does take a little persuading them. There it goes. You got to be a little careful with this, because all this stuff is just sitting on here, and then you've got these little nuts that are capped like in there by these little pieces of metal, or these little bus bars basically. So you got to be careful not to lose none of those if you need to reuse them. Luckily, I saved all the ones from my other fuse box, so I've got plenty now. So now on to the hard part of getting this piece out of here. And this is the part where I would probably just cut it. Like, you can cut this right here and kind of spread this out, and this will come right apart. And I'm probably just gonna do that, because I've got a replacement here. See, that was much simpler than trying to work this thing out. Now I can actually get in here to the damaged wires and stuff, and we can start figuring out how we're gonna make this work in here. So these are all the relays out of the car, and obviously this one is in dire need of replacing, but all of these relays kind of look like crap. I'm not sure if it's just because they were on a lot. Like this one, you can tell the coil was on for an extended period of time. So I'm gonna just go ahead and replace all of these. This one doesn't look too bad. It's a little tarnished, but it doesn't look burnt like this one does. This one got melted to pretty good, so I'm just going to replace all the relays just to be safe. But my game plan for getting this in the car, this is my new good one, is really I'm going to de-pin every single wire out of this thing to where I've only got a plastic shell. And then I'm going to de-pin the car wires, hopefully one at a time, pull them out, and then insert them into the proper location of this plastic housing. That's the game plan. Whether or not this works out, I have no idea. Well, there we go. Everything is de-pinned out of it. I still have the bus bars in there. I'm probably going to take those out as well so I can really clean this thing all up, and also clean these bus bars up, make sure there's no oxidation or corrosion on those. But all it took was basically a little flashlight so I could see down in the holes, and then a couple different little jeweler screwdrivers to get in there and release the little tabs. You can see the little lock tabs right there, and then right there. So that's it. We'll get this cleaned up real nice, and then we'll start on the hard part. That's a very irritating job to have to do, but I've got it done. I've still got to, of course, finish putting it all together, but the original melted fuse box relay section, yeah, everything de-pinned, swapped over here, and I got lucky. And I didn't like these wires. These were on one of those relays that looked like they were starting to get pretty hot, and I got lucky and these wires just kind of jumped to other fuse spots in here. Well, this one don't. This one's an output, but this one jumps to a fuse, and then one from over here jumps to a fuse. So all in all, I've got 4 wires I gotta solder back together. This one, this one, this one. This red one goes down there to that red one. It's a little too short. I just kind of, I left as much extra as I could, twisted the ends together so I'd know which ones went to what. So realistically, I come out pretty good. Only needed to splice 4 wires instead of, I don't know, there was probably at least 50 or 60 in there. So time to get the shell back around this thing, get all the fuses back in it, of course solder these wires together, and see if we've got this thing fixed or not. So I just want to say, like, how impressive this thing is right here. Ivan uses these little, I can't remember what the brand is, but the TS101, I think he uses the TS100, the older version, but Man, this thing is so nice. This is pretty heavy gauge wire, and as you can see, like, I've soldered that like easy. Like this thing's just a beast. And if you don't know how I have it set up, I have it connected to a little rechargeable battery. This is a 1550 milliamp 18.5 volt battery. This is rechargeable, and then I did find a cable to extend, make it longer, but this cable I found is actually a little too rigid, so I used the cable end that come with the soldering iron and spliced it together because it is real soft and flexible. So now I have, like, I don't know, four feet at least of lead, so the battery is not like real close to me, and I can kind of get in some tighter spots, and the cable doesn't really mess with me at all. But if you are interested in a good little soldering iron, this is on my Amazon page. So is the battery, and the recharge unit that you use to recharge this is on there. I don't remember if I've got this cable on there or not, but I'm sure if you can find this battery and this and stuff, you can probably find this cable that goes to this battery. So just to show y'all how good this thing actually does, we're going to solder together these two big old wires, and I like to squirt a little extra flux in here just to kind of help the solder flow through everything good. Hey, Lou ain't here.
I know.
Oh.
You doing a video?
Yeah.
I won't talk.
So we got that twisted together real good and tight, and I do have some wind blowing, so I'm just getting a little solder on the tip of my soldering iron just to kind of help spread some heat, and it's already really kind of soaking into the to the wire already. And that flux just really helps it like flow through the wire. Try to get some here on the back side to let it flow towards the heat. But as you can see, that solders these big cables, big wires, with pretty easily. Well, we have it running. Sadly, the new fuse box that I got from the junkyard didn't come with a lid, so this one's still a little damaged. I did try to clean it up as best I could, but it didn't help a whole lot. But we are in. Car is running. How you like these? Oh yeah, more power, baby. Yeah. And inside the car we have no dash lights, nothing to worry about. Fault scan. Look, the BCM code's no longer there. It's a real good thing we put a BCM in this thing, because it needed a BCM. Yeah. Now, of course, once once I did have the battery undone to do all this fuse box stuff. So once I reconnected the battery with these Hondas, you do need to do the steering angle relearn stuff. It's pretty simple. Go into the ABS module, do an all sensor relearn, and bam, pretty much it. That was it. We've got a clean looking dash. That info button's just probably the doors open. Yeah. So there we go. This is a fix, and yeah, I would have liked to have seen this go to a dealership, because they see that code, they throw a BCM at this thing. That's what their service information tells them to do. But luckily, we actually test things and figure out, hey, something doesn't add up here. This is talking about an ignition circuit issue. Like, let's follow this. What could cause this? Service information, they just throw a BCM at it. If that doesn't fix it, we don't know, because it didn't go any further. It didn't say, if the BCM doesn't fix it, do this. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys later.